Okay, so have you ever, like, thought about who would win in a fight between Bruce Lee and Donnie Yen?
Oh, yeah, I've definitely had that thought before.
Yeah, it's like a classic what if, you know? And, well, today we're going to really dig into it. We've got some analyses here that break down their fighting styles and even try to predict a winner.
Nice. Yeah, because it's not just about who would win, right? It's like, how would their styles actually, like, play out against each other, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's about, like, the clash of those two legends and their approaches to combat.
Yeah, for sure.
So first, let's talk about Bruce Lee. The sources we've got here really emphasize his speed and dynamism.
Yeah, I mean...
They even describe his reflexes as, like, lightning fast.
Yeah, and he was really known for being able to adapt during a fight.
Totally. And that makes sense when you think about his whole Jeet Kune philosophy.
Right.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Jeet Kune means the way of the intercepting fist. And it's really interesting because it's not about, like, fixed techniques. It's about intercepting your opponent's moves before they can fully develop.
Yeah.
Which, you know, makes sense why he was so fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a preemptive strike almost. It's not about blocking after the attack has started. It's about stopping it before it even becomes a real threat.
Oh, wow.
That could be a huge advantage against someone like Donnie Yen. Imagine Bruce just, like, effortlessly deflecting a bunch of blows and then countering with, like, pinpoint accuracy.
I mean, that sounds pretty unstoppable, right? But then you have Donnie Yen. I mean, a lot of people know him from playing Ip Man, the Grand Master of Wing Chun.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And Ip Man is always portrayed as super calm,
Yeah.
you know, almost Zen-like,
Right.
and incredibly precise with his movement.
Totally. And that precision comes from how efficient Wing Chun is. You know, it focuses on these really fast, close-range strikes, and it has this amazing defense that's, like, almost impossible to break through.
So it's not just about attacking, it's also about using your opponent's force against them.
Exactly. It's all about control and taking advantage of even the tiniest openings in your opponent's defense.
That's wild. I mean, you can almost picture Ip Man just calmly redirecting his opponent's force and just waiting for the perfect time to strike.
Yeah, and we're talking about, like, controlling the entire fight within inches of your opponent. It's a totally different approach to combat than, like, the kind of explosive style that Bruce Lee was known for.
Right, so it's like Bruce Lee, this lightning-fast adapter, versus Donnie Yen, this master of controlled close-quarters combat.
Exactly.
It's like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough one to call, right?
Yeah, would Lee's speed just overwhelm Yen's precision? Or would Yen be able to use his close combat mastery to, like, neutralize Lee's agility? What do the sources say?
Well, it's interesting. So if it was like a really fast-paced fight, you know, with a lot of back and forth, then the sources think that Bruce Lee's speed and adaptability would probably give him the upper hand.
Right, because of that whole Jeet Kune thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He could probably use that speed to create openings and get a hit in before Donnie Yen could really react.
Okay, I could see that. But what if it wasn't that kind of fight? What if it was more like a slow, strategic, you know, back and forth?
Then that's where Donnie Yen might have the advantage. He could really use the strengths of Wing Chun, you know, techniques like Pak Sao, which is that blocking hand, or Tan Sao, the dispersing hand. Both of those are, like, super important for deflecting and redirecting attacks.
So he'd be using Bruce Lee's own force against him.
Exactly. And Wing Chun is all about controlling the center line, so he could really wear down Bruce Lee, waiting for the perfect opportunity to exploit, like, a tiny weakness.
That's fascinating. It sounds like it could really go either way. So ultimately, who do these sources think would win in this, like, legendary showdown?
Well, they give the edge to Bruce Lee. They think that his speed and adaptability, combined with Jeet Kune Do's focus on interception, would probably be enough to secure the win.
Wow. But of course, this is all hypothetical.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's impossible to say for sure who would actually win in a real fight.
Yeah, but it's so fun to think about the strengths of each fighter and how their styles would play out against each other, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a testament to both Bruce Lee and Donnie Yen's skill and mastery that we're even having this conversation, you know?
For sure. What an incredible deep dive into the world of martial arts.
That was good.
So what do you think? Do you agree with the analysis? And more importantly, who do you think would win in this epic battle? Let us know.
And here's another thing to think about. How would the fight change if it took place somewhere else? Like, imagine if they were fighting in a narrow alleyway or a crowded marketplace or even like a bamboo forest, you know?
Yeah, the environment could totally change things, right? It could give one of them a huge advantage.
Exactly.
It's so cool to imagine all the different possibilities. So if you want to learn more about Bruce Lee, Donnie Yen, Jeet, Kune and Wing Chun, We really encourage you to keep digging. There's so much to discover.
Absolutely.